Now, let's go over some special rules about the Roth IRA that you probably didn't know about. First, what if you're above the Roth IRA income limits? Let's talk about that for a minute. So, the first step is to have two IRA accounts. You see how this is different from what I showed you earlier, right? You need to have a traditional IRA and a Roth IRA with the same broker right here. And so if you have Fidelity, then open both accounts with Fidelity. If you have Schwab, then have both accounts with Schwab to make things easier. So even if you're under the Roth IRA income limits right now, it's perfectly fine to open both a traditional IRA and Roth IRA and leave the balance in your traditional IRA at $0 because there's no harm in having both accounts open. Your goal is to increase your income over time, right? So you may also have some old 401k accounts that you want to roll over in the future. And if you want to make the traditional 401k to Roth IRA conversion, you need to have a traditional IRA. And I will explain that later on in this live stream. The next step is I'm going to contribute directly to my traditional IRA as non-deductible contributions because I don't make the income requirements to deduct what I contribute to the traditional IRA from my gross income. And there are also no income limits to contributing to my traditional IRA like the Roth IRA does. And keep in mind that the contribution limit is still the same. I'm going to write this down right here. Still the same at $6,500. Some people just do a lump sum contribution in the amount of $6,500 at the beginning of the year. And the next step is to convert what I have because it's going to the money market fund and goes to the money market fund in the Roth IRA and make a conversion to a Roth IRA. You can do it two ways. One is to convert your $6,500 to a Roth IRA in a lump sum, or make a conversion every time you make a contribution to your traditional IRA. It's completely up to you. And I know Fidelity, Schwab, and Vanguard will allow you to do it by just making a transfer from traditional IRA to a Roth IRA. What you cannot do is make automatic conversions. And I try to do it with every broker, and they all said I have to manually convert them. So to keep things simple, I decided to just make one lump sum conversion in January every year because I already know that I'm going to be above the income limit. And I'm not trying to show off or anything. I'm just showing you the process. Okay. And you can also wait until the end of the year to make the backdoor Roth IRA conversion if you don't know what your income is going to be. And the way I do the backdoor Roth IRA is I make a lump sum contribution of $6,500 from my traditional IRA, okay, to my Roth IRA at the beginning of the year. And then I dollar cost average my investment by $250 every 2 weeks inside my Roth IRA into several index funds. You don't have to do it that way. That's just my preference, okay? By keeping things simple, I keep that $6,500 right here in the money market account as cash instead of investing it in my traditional IRA. I don't want to pay additional taxes if any earnings or interest accrued in the investments of my traditional IRA, right? And I also don't want to lose money if the market crashes in the short term by, let's say, 3, 4, or 5%. Then I'm essentially converting money with short-term losses, and that would suck, right? So, however, and this is a big however, if you have an existing balance in your traditional IRA, it's going to trigger what's called the Pro-Rata Rule. And the process can be quite complicated. So I'm going to explain it as simply as possible. But if you want to sign up for my private coaching session, you can visit my website at firesightshare.com/pricing to view my coaching plans and schedule your 20-minute coaching session at firesightshare.com/coaching. But anyway, here's what happens if you have a balance in your traditional IRA. The Pro-Rata Rule applies if you have both pre-tax and after-tax money in a traditional IRA. What I just showed you, the non-deductible contribution, right? Because you're above the income limit. So when I'm doing a conversion from my traditional IRA that has both pre-tax and after-tax contributions, I'm not going to be able to choose to convert only the after-tax portion during a conversion. This is sort of a complicated process. So you know what? I'm going to pull up the notepad here. I'm just going to show it to you. I'm going to give you an example. Let's say I have my traditional IRA, okay, with a pre-existing balance, and say, you know what, 6,500. So I'm going to make things simple, and I'm going to say I have 93,500. I know it doesn't look simple, but for math, it is. Trust me on this. Traditional IRA at 93,500 in pre-tax dollars by December 31st, 2023, and I make an after-tax contribution. Let me see if I can switch colors. So, you know what? I'm going to put this is pre-tax, okay? And then for after tax, I'm going to make a 6,500 in non-deductible contribution. So this right here is going to be after tax, okay? That came from my checking account into the traditional IRA before I made a conversion. So that would bring me to a total $100,000 in total balance, right? This is where the pro-rata rule kicks in. It doesn't matter. Well, I'm just using 93,500 as an example, but 93,500 divided by $100,000, which is the total, that would give me 93.5%, okay, of the pre-tax money in my traditional IRA. And 6,500 is going to be 6.5% of, that's the other 6.5% of the after-tax money in my traditional IRA. So in this case, only 6.5% of the 6,500 Roth conversion would be considered tax-free. And 93.5% of the same 6,500 would actually be taxable to me. So if my marginal tax rate, let's say I'm at a 24% tax bracket, then I would owe 24%. So what is that? 93.5% of 6,500. That would be 6,077.50. So that's how much it's going to get taxed out of the 6,500. So 24%, that would be $1,458.60. If my math is wrong, just go ahead and call me out in the comment section down below. So that was sucked, right? Because 93.5% of this 6,500 I'm converting has to be taxed. So if I have a high balance in my traditional IRA with pre-tax money, then I will have to pay a lot more in taxes just to do the backdoor Roth IRA. And every CPA will tell you the same thing. Oh, you have a balance in your traditional IRA. That's going to complicate things with the pro-rata rule. And I just saved you $3,000 on getting a financial advisor to tell you this, all right? But one popular way people do to avoid pro-rata is to move the pre-tax portion of their traditional IRA back to an employer-sponsored retirement account like the 401k, 403b, or TSP. You can do this. I know this pro-rata rule seems like double taxation, but technically it's not. You still keep your after-tax dollars in your traditional IRA, but you're only able to convert a portion based on the pro-rata split. So if my account balance remains at 93,500, I'm converting 6.5% of my after-tax dollars annually. And that's not very tax efficient, right? And I really hope that Congress makes some changes to this pro-rata rule in the future because it is extremely complicated and unnecessary. The easiest way, in my opinion, is to make the backdoor Roth IRA happen is to keep a $0 balance in your traditional IRA. So you don't need to worry about triggering the pro-rata rule. And the other rule you probably didn't know about is the 5-year rule. So, and it is very important to understand the 5-year rule. And you're gonna be either penalized or taxed by the IRS if you don't understand that. If you have parents who are close to their retirement age, or you're watching this in your 50s, you need to let them know about this too. Because even if you're 59 and a half, which is the age you're eligible to withdraw your interest and earnings from your Roth IRA, but you don't have your Roth IRA open for at least 5 years, you won't be able to withdraw from your Roth IRA tax-free. It would be penalty-free, but it wouldn't be tax-free. In order to collect your Roth IRA tax-free and penalty-free at 59 and a half, you need to have your Roth IRA open for at least 5 years. So if you're 57 right now and just open a Roth IRA this year, you'll need to wait until you're 62 to withdraw the interest and earnings inside your Roth IRA. But you can take out the contributions at any time. That is a separate thing that I just talked about earlier. And if you make a conversion, say from a traditional IRA to a Roth IRA, the 5-year clock starts on January 1st of the year you made the conversion. So if you made a conversion on, let's say April 19th, this year, the 5-year clock still starts on January 1st. If you do it on December 31st this year, the 5-year clock will still start on January 1st. That makes sense so far, right? And you won't be able to make the withdrawal of that conversion until January 1st, 2028, penalty-free and tax-free. That's where the 5-year rule comes in. So if you have an inherited Roth IRA, it has its own clock as well. And it starts with the original account owner who passed the account over to you when they made their first contributions. Their clock doesn't start when you inherit the Roth IRA. Now, let's talk about the special withdrawal rules. But please keep in mind that most financial advisors, financial planners, or I would never recommend withdrawing from the Roth IRA until you're retired, because every time you make a withdrawal, you're potentially losing the opportunity cost unless you absolutely need to. All right. So let me show you this. All right. So first, your 10% penalty is waived if you're considered a terminally ill patient that will result in death within 84 months of a doctor's assessment. And 2, if you're a victim of domestic abuse or domestic violence, you can withdraw up to $10,000 within the year of the incident, but this rule doesn't take effect until 2024. And if you're a victim of domestic violence or domestic abuse, please call the hotline at 1-800-799-7233. And also starting in 2024, you can withdraw up to $1,000 a year penalty-free if you have unforeseeable or immediate costs related to personal or family emergencies. But you will need to repay that $1,000 back to the Roth IRA if it's from your earnings or interest. 4, you can withdraw up to $22,000 penalty-free if you're in a federally declared disaster area or zone due to a tornado, hurricane, or earthquake. And 5, using your Roth IRA for higher education expenses for you, your spouse, your children, or your grandchildren. Next, you can get up to $10,000 penalty-free for your first time purchasing a home. That's been around for a long time. And next one is pay for your health insurance premiums only if you're unemployed for 12 consecutive weeks, okay? And 8, you can reimburse yourself to cover your medical expenses up to 7.5% of your annual adjusted gross income to pay for your unreimbursed medical expenses. For example, if let's say your adjusted gross income was $100,000 in 2022, then you can make a withdrawal of up to $7,500 to cover your reimbursed medical expenses. And keep in mind that if you got your medical statement in 2022 and you didn't make the payment until 2023, it will still count for the 2022 tax year. And 9, if you had a birth or adopted a child, each parent can use up to $5,000 per birth or adoption from their Roth IRAs. And lastly, if you've been activated to active duty as a reservist in any branch of the military for at least 180 days, you can withdraw the earnings and interest from your Roth IRA penalty-free. So let me know in the comment section below if I missed anything or if you ever used any of these special provisions to withdraw from your Roth IRA. And just keep in mind that you'll get your penalty waived under these special provisions, like I talked about earlier, if you're under the age of 59 and a half and have had your Roth IRA for less than 5 years. If you're under the age of 59 and a half and had your Roth IRA for more than 5 years, the IRS will waive your penalty and taxes on the earnings and interest. This is why I keep stressing to open your Roth IRA today, even if you're not ready to contribute to it.